Welcome, everybody. So what I want to do right now is I want to figure out a way to get the Effect MCP server running locally before I start working on CLI. So let's go to Tim's Smart. So I need to get this running in a container. Podman container OS. Oh wow, got a bunch of. So let's do Podman container. So let's stop all the containers you've got running, and let's do root them all. I don't know on this on the background. Potmold, LS. Oh, there it is. Next. Yes, we could if we want to use this as a Claude instead of doing it this way. Podman container. Let's remove or stop everything. Stop. Remove. Let's see. We're gonna have to edit this a little bit. I want to use PNPX. I guess we'll see if this works. All right, let's get started. CLI. What's up, Tommy? It's going well. Just starting to learn how to use Claude a little bit better. I had a quick chat with Mike yesterday, and he gave me some tips on how to use Claude Code, and it really is just wild. I think the key that we've found in the short time we've been using it is if you give it really good context, it tends to do way better at the tasks you assign it. So I'm going to see if we can context engineer Claude code to help me rewrite Effect CLI the way that I want to. What we need is we need to give it a link to the current Effect CLI. CLI. Whoops. our house. Wow, Mattia, in with the crab rave right away. What's up? Our task today is to work on a rewrite of the infamous Effectful CLI library with the goal of improving ergonomics and flexibility, particularly our our goal today is going to be, or is, why can't I backspace? To rewrite the Effect CLI library with a focus on improving ergonomics and flexibility, particularly for CLI output uh, and line and accurate understanding, etc. Morning, Frank. Mattia, yes, I've been vibe coding since yesterday, and I am all in. Will the stream be recorded so we can revisit the video? Yes, I am recording. I don't know when it will be on YouTube, but yes. Our first task is to create a plan. Actually, before we even do this, so let's actually just delete all of this. What the literal F? Git restore staged dot. Git restore. Yeah. Git one. RM Zara packages effect. Right. 4. Yeah, I haven't experimented with different models yet, Dami, but so far, like by context engineering quite heavily, I've been like extremely satisfied with Sonnet. Not even, I don't even, I'm not even using Opus. Like literally just Sonnet has been fantastic. And right now I'm still on Pro. I haven't like upgraded my plan or anything, but we'll see how far we get before we run out of whatchamacallit, capacity. Our first task is to create is going to be creating the a value parser module. The goal of the is to be able to parse a value of type A from a string, i.e., the argument received on the command line. Before running any code, we will create a detailed plan of execution. Detailed plan, which describes the functionality, the purpose, functionality, and goals of the value parser module. You must respect the following requirements while developing your plan. First, you use the schema module from the current code base. Actually, before we even say this, all code for our refactor reflect CLI will be written under the packages effect source unstable CLI, right? Packages effect source unstable, yeah, directory. You can analyze before executing, before beginning before you start planning, perform a detailed analysis. Actually, I think Mike already did this. Odd context. One thing that worked really well for me is to let it generate the tests and tell it how to run them so much better. Yeah, I've been basically like our approach has been similar. We've been letting it like work on modules and develop the tests in tandem. But also something that's worked really well for us is basically telling it to perform, like create a plan and persist the plan into the actual code base. So like you'll see like we have all of the like the .clod repository and we have all these plans that it has come up with. Full analysis of the schema. I think I just you understand the I think what we're going to do is we're going to take this. The package was previously implemented. Okay. Um, um, the value parser A module will replace the old primitive module. Um, the value parser pipes. So, I don't know why backspace is not working for me. That's really annoying. Exceptionally annoying. I don't know if it's a Vim thing, but uh, where possible, reuse classes that contain the parsing logic, i.e., I'm going to start writing these prompts in a file so that I could just paste them in here. This is exceptionally annoying. You should use a base class. Did you say some dictation tools like Willow Voice or Whisperfly? I feel like this will improve your efficiency. Yeah, I think that I'm going to just write the prompts in my Vim files because I feel like dictating is fine, but I think I tend to have more logical trains of thought when I write things down. And I'm a lot faster in my Vim editor, so I'll probably stop writing the prompt inside Claude directly and write it in Vim instead, and then bring it over. You should use a base class, which um, has an abstract method for parsing, which subtypes will implement. What's annoying right now is that when I hold down the backspace key, the terminal UI bugs out. You see? I don't know why it does that, but it does. It's like exceptionally annoying. You know what? Yeah. Writing this in my BIM editor is going to be much faster. But Okay, so that's that. And then before, do not execute any part of the plan until you receive my permission. And let's clean up this stuff. Yeah. So let's do this. Yeah, I think that the terminal UI was just bugging a little bit. Probably my own fault for whatever custom setting I have is screwing that up. Zachary, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate that very, very much. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Sorry that right now we're not doing anything interesting yet. I promise it will become more interesting momentarily. We're just figuring out what flow works best for us. Here. I literally don't know what the heck. Huh. Look at that. Okay. That was weird. Here we go. Okay, so current plan. Our goal today is to rewrite the Effectful CLI library with a focus on improving ergonomics, flexibility, and flexibility, particularly surrounding CLI output, command line, argument parsing, etc. Our first task is going to be to create a value parser module, which will serve as the basis for parsing command line argument, parsing the value of command line arguments from a string into a value of type O. Before beginning, perform a full analysis of the current repository, including code, conventions, formatting, commonly used modules, etc., to gain a deep understanding of how to use the code. In addition, perform a detailed analysis of the old Effectful CLI repository. Our first task is going to be to create a value parser module. Okay. Now create a detailed plan. Do not execute any further. Claude. Turn me back. Persist the plan into the .claude directory, following the conventions, the files structure. Existing conventions used in that directory related to file system structure. Sure. Also make sure to respect all rules outlined in the pod. I'm being sure that I don't need to include that, but whatever. Okay. Claude MCP server failed to connect. Claude debug. Oh my God. Connection failed. Connection closed. On MCP. How does Effectful make money? At the moment, we don't. But we have a few things in the pipeline. That's all I can say at the moment. Stay tuned. So maybe Claude MCP. How do I reconfigure this thing? Uh, grab this Claude MCP remove front. PNPX. Is it happy now? Looks like it. Oh, auth token has expired. Oh my gosh. All right. I know I can log in from here. I think it's this one. What is the other one? Invalid model name. Model Sonnet. Can you work now, please? Oh, it's VC funded at the moment. Is the amount public? Hey, Mike. Mike, Zachrip. Zachrip has a bunch of questions about how Effectful makes money. What are we doing? We're working on Effect CLI. Zachrip, for context, Mike is our benevolent dictator for life and also our CEO. I also have a bunch of questions about how we were making money. You talked to him a fair bit about Century Effect recently. Cool. Let's focus the analysis of the parent code base on the schema and effect modules. We can add additional modules. We can analyze additional half of the team sniping Maxwell on stream. Yeah. The equivalent of Mike is my boss, but not I don't think it's ever felt that way. We're a team. He just happens to be the CEO. I am your boss. Yeah. When was the last time you gave me like Max, you have to do this? A directive that I absolutely had to do. Claude wants to fetch content from GitHub. Yeah. When you resigned from your old role. Good point. Is the amount? I don't know, Mike. Is the amount we raised public? I'm sure it is. But we raised like 2, right? If we need to reply on the amount, and you derailed. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. So what we're having Claude do right now is basically analyze all the stuff that we wanted to look at. So like old implementation, the current code base modules that we think will be useful. We're having it create a plan of how it's going to implement the value parser module for the new Effect CLI. And then we're going to let it work with it iteratively on the plan. Basically like trying to get it to, if we like the plan as it stands initially, then we'll let it go and we'll just pause it and update its instructions like as we go. But if we don't like the plan, we'll have it adjust things, get more context, etc. So we'll take a look at the plan once it's done. Nice. Based on your team size, it seems like that would be necessary soon. How does one even go about getting funding for an OSS library? I'll let Mike answer these questions, but I will say that we're a very lean team, very conscious about how we spend the money that we spend. Sorry to have this comment on your chat. I don't think any of us care about having the conversation in our chat, but Ethan, hello. Thank you for requesting songs. Everybody should request songs so that I'm always listening to what I want to listen to, except for I'm going to request the song. I'll be linked to song. Do you want to create value parser plan? Yes, I do. There's this thing where you first reach critical mass through a free tool, and then the business models present themselves. SST is a similar story. Yeah, I think that's somewhat true for us. We always had a particular business model in mind. but it's adjusted over time and it continues to adjust based on like the things that we observe. So I think more will become clear within the next year publicly, but for now, we're still focused on trying to get Effect to the best possible place that it can be. All right, let's take a look at the plan it came up with. So we're going to create a new value parser module to replace the old primitive module in the Effect CLI library rewrite. This module will serve as foundation for parsing command line argument values. Yep, proven in German. Okay. This is fine. Abstract class value parser out implements pipeable. We're going to parse something. Not sure about the combinators, but we'll let it. We're going to kind of let this thing go. String parser, Boolean parser, number parser, integer parser, date parser, choice parser, file path parser, directory path parser. In the plan, can we condense the file path parser and directory path parser into a single type, like in the old live example? Mike, I don't think ever had the intention of raising money for Effect, but I'll let him speak for himself. I just remember many, many years ago, before Effect was even a company or anything, when Mike was just building it himself. I don't think he ever had the intention of raising money for it. Obviously, that changed. Sorry, guys. I really I have no idea what happened. It was weird. Okay, let's take a look at what it did. Okay, we got the path parser. Makisuo, thank you very much for the follow. I really appreciate it. And Murado Fox, thank you very much for the subscription. I appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Feel free to request music. Thank you very, very much. Thank you for supporting me on the stream. Means an enormous amount. Okay, wait. I gotta catch up on chat while I was trying to figure out what's going on. I don't think we had enough Discoteca Italiano playing. What is the signal you were wanting to receive offers for a seed round? Cheater. How do they know to reach out to you? Is there a place you can let PCs know you're interested? Maxwell explained my reasoning well, but I think the only signal is when you have a business idea that makes sense. That the way they know is through buzz. Got it, vibes. Either devs they know hinted using projects you build go viral, you get stars. No. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm sorry if we didn't get a chance to talk very much at Effect Days. The conference is always crazy. But I'm glad we at least got to meet. All right, let's see how it did with the plan here. I think we're going to let it go ahead with this plan. and we're going to see. There are still references to these separated path type parsers, raise fix, and the pleth. We plan for you to fix this now. I'm not sure I know what Mike wants me to explain, but I think that um, I think that the investor, like a good investor, will already understand the value of what you're coming to the table with. And it's your job to sell them on the idea that you have, like, to continue moving forward. For an open source project, it's a little bit different, like, because obviously, like, when you get your initial investment, most of the time there is no profit. You're operating at a loss, like Mike said. But the idea is to convert that into a product in the future. And that's like kind of the OSS model. Effect as like a piece of software will always be open source. It'll never be like a paid tool. That will never be the case. But like the idea is you layer technologies on top to continue adding value for the community of folks who are already building with your tool. I mean, Vercel, Next, like that whole story is one of the perfect examples of like how that story works. Uh, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce your name, Drow, but you can do either song to get the current song, or you can do song Q. Whoops. Song Q to get the things that are next up. And if you want to request a song yourself, you can feel free to do that. If you click the little channel points button in the bottom of my chat, you can request songs to play. They'll be sent to my Spotify queue. You just need a Spotify song link. All right, let's let this thing go wild. Yes, don't ask again for crypt twins. Thanks. A lot of my song queue is community based, meaning that a lot of the folks in my chat are. I like how Mike pinned "I am your boss." Um, did I pin it? I can see it pinned in my chat. Did I pin it? You mean Mitchell Armoni? I might have pinned it. It says pinned by Michael Arnaldi. Proceed with the plan. All right. I am going to request. Are song requests not working right now? Hang on. Hang on, folks. Let me clear my queue. Hmm. I wonder if the logic we added yesterday for starting and stopping my stream somehow broke my song requests. Let's see. Oh no, I just had to clear the queue. I'm sorry, guys. For anybody who was requesting music, feel free to re-request the songs that you requested. I had to clear the queue. I'm looking at you, Mattia. I don't think we ever got the pleasure of the crab rave. I don't have a font command. I'm currently using JetBrains Mono. Didn't I do that? Yeah, Mattia, I'm sorry. My song queue was full for some reason. I don't know. I don't know how to use Spotify properly. Anyways, I cleared the queue, and now song requests should work. Like Mike's. Yeah, I can see Mike's there. But yeah, Joao, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your username incorrectly. I don't know how to pronounce it. But um, this is JetBrains Mono. But I know Dylan, for example, uses Mona Lisa, I think. So now Mike would be telling me, Max, you need to run Claude with dangerously no permissions. But since I'm not running this on a VM anymore, and it's on my Mac, I'm gonna be running it with permissions. You have to take risks. Risk it for the biscuit. What the heck is this? A string value that is used in the creation of the default string description of an object. That's interesting. Let's see what it's doing here. This is kind of cool, except uh, I don't think I want these to be like, I think I want the pipeable methods like this. I don't think I want it to be like this. Okay, we'll let it do its thing. And then we'll make some adjustments. Yeah, like this feels very Scala-esque. Mike, this is very good. These are the types of songs that Mike listens to. Oh my god. There are also other ones less politically correct. Yeah. I am well aware, Mattia. Is it finished yet? Oh yeah. Oh, it's writing tests. Yeah, I think that we're gonna have it refactor this module. What are you all working on today? We're gonna have to revoke Mike's song request privileges. Working on some LSP stuff. Nice, Mattia. These crabs are raving. Jesus, it is going crazy. I think I want this module to be more along the lines of what exists currently. Okay, good. It's just got the parse method now. But the combinators themselves extends value parser. And I guess this is fine. Let's look at current implementation. So yeah, it's all operation based. I'm not sure that we need like all this mapping and stuff like that. All right, let's stop it and let's give it some more information. Because in reality, like if we have a base class that's of type value parser that can parse some value and either gives us the value or it gives us, maybe we just do like a schema parse error. Then we can just like create individual implementations of that. So let's take a look here. So I'm fine with all of this. I don't think we need this. I also don't think we need the validation error. Because I'm fairly certain what I actually want here is all right. Let's fix up a few things. Covariant. Okay. This is going to be schema dot. Forget what it's called in the new schema parse. Mirror tests. Isn't it so fortunate JS and the web has so many rough edges? I wonder how much GDP wrangling both are responsible. Yeah. View parser. Okay. So what's in here? The code effect. So I guess issue dot issue. Yeah, I think this is the kind of signature we want. We want parse to take in a string, and then it's going to either return the value of type A uh, or we're going to get um, or we're going to get a schema parse issue thing. One thing I wanted to look at is, God, Mike, these JS docs are massive. How did you do the variance for Q? Okay, I get it. Where's my tilde? Tilde. 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 There we go. Wonder if we can actually just do this in terms of a prototype and leave this an interface. Export interface. Parser. A implements hypable. Make stems. Hypable. Squictable. You don't need type OEB. Value parser dot variance. It's going to have a parse method. We're going to get rid of these errors. We need I want to look at Mike's implementation of transactional queue. What's the prototype? Let it learn from Claude plans to escape. Yeah, I know. I'm testing something else out. I wonder if I code enough of what I want it to do. If I then like give it the, like, I want to test something. Did you mean, Mike, to not have pipeable on the transactional queue proto? Yeah, I guess the queue itself doesn't need to be pipeable. Yeah. I guess similarly, the value parser itself doesn't need to be pipeable either. And this can just be inspectable. That matters. And when I was younger, I freaking loved Story of the Year. I still love them. Okay, so I've got enough here now to implement some other stuff. If we go back to TXQ, there we go. So constructors. So for example, export const string parser. Oh, text parser, maybe? Text. Make parser. Make. We need the parse method. Do we parse? And you want to train it. And then we can do like that make value parser. Y is input any. I just really don't want to have to keep retyping that type. So okay. So then we have input, and then we can look at the logic we had previously and see if we can give this thing just enough of an implementation to take it from there. This is what I want to test. It's got context already loaded. Now I'm going to give it like a little bit more of like the implementation goal that I want. And we're going to see if it can get there. Text, object create proto, and then we need to look at the validate method. Where are you? We're going to need to add other properties to the primitive thing. And we may end up renaming this thing to primitive in the future, but we'll see. So validate for text, I think it literally just returns the text. Schema.decode unknown, schema.string. Yeah. Type name. Uh, value parser. Sure. There. What does attempt do? Where are you, attempt? I've done or else fail. So it tries to get. I forget how this works. So type name options do not have a default value. I'm gonna skip this one. So it tries to get a sum from the option. If it's not a sum, if it's a none, then it says doesn't have a default value. And then we flat map that into parsing this value. Otherwise, it fails. And where's my parse method? Oh, it's passed in. Right. So for text, for example, value here. How does Boolean work? Because I'm pretty sure this like optional thing is specifically for bool. Validate internal. I think I need to see like why I'm receiving an option of a string instead of just receiving a string from the external function that's calling this. Let's see if we can figure out where this is being called from, and then we can. So primitive is definitely being called from within options for sure. Internal primitive. I'll validate. Yeah, this was a good one. I don't know if you're referring to the chicken wing beat, but the one that just like was great. So here, I mean, maybe it makes more sense for us to start from parsing the command line. Hot dogs on Malone? Yeah. Maybe it makes sense for us to start from command line parsing instead of value parsing because, like, I think I'm not really sure if this is going to work 100%, but like the idea that I have for updated command line parsing, um, like let's say we have a command line that looks like looks like root command boolbar child command as crux some arg, right? Like ideally, this would get transformed into a tree that looks like root command with an option of like basically like every node in the tree, every level in the tree is like a is this like this, it represents the structure of like the subcommands. So like the root command would be associated with a bunch of stuff. You'd have like options and args here. And then you'd have the next level in the tree would be the child command here. And basically, like you could have, you know, many different paths that you can take, but you can only take one path, which is like how it works with the normal command line, right? A command can have many subcommands, but you can only take one path, one subcommand path, generally speaking. And then the options and args can be parsed however. Let's see how far we get. Um, your goal is to transform a command line specification is to parse like the spec for the command line is currently a tree. It's like an AST of commands, right? Um, where every subcommand represents alternatives, and then there's options and args associated with each command, which is why like wizard mode and all of that stuff works well. Because it can just traverse the tree based on the options that you select. But the command line, the parser that we currently use, is not great. Your goal is to parse a command line. Your goal is to create a module. You're working on a package to help developers create command line applications using text. You are currently working on a new module to uh, which has the purpose of parsing command line arguments, command line commands, option arguments into a create structure, create a detailed plan, create a detailed plan uh, for creating such a module. Persist 3 plan taking qual directory following the system file system conventions. Your plan should include the fact CLI related code will depends under the packages that source and stable CLI directory. Your plan should also include the fact that the clause done and these should be we're gonna It had everything good stash. But yeah, this is a good one. L'amica della nonna. The song is ridiculous. Sure. I think that going into these sessions with Claude with a more accurate plan of what I want to achieve will net better results. But I kind of just wanted to like experiment with what it could potentially achieve. This is cool. I like that it came up with this all on its own. It's like coming up with like a full on like specification for like a module. I was not expecting that. We're gonna see what happens when we let this thing loose. Man, story of the year, circa like when did this album come out? 2003. Man, Page Avenue. 2008 is Black Swan. 2005, like circa like mid 2000, early 2000s. Great band. Um, Great. Where is the plan? Let's move the plan to uh, CLI directory within. We need that. After that, begin implementation of the plan. I remember when I was younger and I like had just gotten my license. I'd be driving to high school, and my friend and I would blast Story of the Year, especially like as the summer was approaching. I don't know why, but like it was maybe like a 20-minute drive to high school, and absolutely blasting Story of the Year. All right, folks. Well, once we let this thing run for a little while, I'm probably going to dip out and work on some other stuff. But I'm going to see where this goes first. Let's select this. Cools off. It's pretty wild. I'm like really curious to see where this thing ends up. All right. Well, I am going to let this thing keep going. But in the meantime, unfortunately, I have to go. Um, but thank you all for joining. Maybe we can find somebody cool to raid. All right, folks. I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Thank you very, very much for joining. Thank you all for all your support. Sorry it was a little bit of a quieter stream than usual. But yeah, have a good one, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.